Avalor! Welcome back to another episode of The Magic Within, your podcast resource for all things Elena of Avalor. We come to you tonight live from our Elena of Avalor Discord server, and have we got a great podcast for you tonight. We are going to be discussing the most recent episode, Snow Place Like Home, making speculations about future unnamed episodes, talking holiday traditions, and taking a closer look at some of the Malvago robe design choices. And joining me tonight in our discussions are our fabulous podcast princesses, Lady C.
Hi guys, it's Chrissy from New Zealand. Whoop whoop.
Lady J.
Hi, I'm Jenny from California.
Lady A.
Hello, I'm Amelia from Oregon.
Lady G.
Hello, it's Georgia from Greece.
And last but not least, we have me, Lady B. I'm Becky, coming to you from Germany. Okay, so before we jump into our discussions, can we just take a moment to congratulate Craig Gerber and his amazing team for their Annie Award nomination?
Whoa!
Yes!
So cool.
That is amazing. Yes, Elena of Avalor has been nominated for an award for Outstanding Achievement for Music in an Animated Television Broadcast Production. According to a tweet from Craig Gerber, the nomination was specifically for Song of the Sirenas.
Wow. Okay, I'm honestly not surprised though, because the music in Song of the Sirenas was amazing. It was so good.
It was.
That was beautiful and so catchy. I honestly think we all can agree that this nomination is extremely, extremely well deserved, and all of us from the podcast princesses will be waiting with fingers crossed, toes crossed, and a bated breath for the results to be announced in February.
I completely agree with you, Chrissy. Again, congratulations, Elena of Avalor team, on your nomination, and good luck. We're rooting for you.
I wouldn't miss this for the world. I'm rooting for you guys.
So, girls, I have some good news and some bad news. Bad news is that it looks like we are officially on hiatus for the month of December.
That's so sad.
I know. But the good news is it looks like it's not going to be a super long hiatus.
Ooh, thank God.
I know, right? So, according to a recent tweet from Craig Gerber, we should, in theory, be seeing our next episode sometime in January, and then one episode a month through May.
We got 5 episodes left. Are we going to get them 1 month each?
I think so. I think they're going to stretch them through, they said through the middle of next year, so I think this strategy or plan seems to make sense.
Is that the end
sounds
of
good.
season 2?
Yes, I think.
Or a sort of mix of season 2, season 3?
We have 24 episodes in season 2, and if they do one episode through May, that would take us right to episode 24.
Oh, wicked.
I know. Fingers crossed that we can go straight into season 3.
I think we did that last year, didn't we?
Yeah, I think it was
Yes.
without fanfare or
I can't believe
anything.
we're so far into season 2.
I know.
I know.
I know, it feels like just yesterday. Where did the time go?
Exactly. It's been so incredible. Time flies, except when you're on a giant hiatus. But anyway, it all makes sense now. So fingers crossed, girls. It's early January because I don't know about you, but after watching the last episode, I swear it feels like there's so many loose story threads that I'm so excited to follow.
Like Esteban's story. Oh my gosh, Delgados.
Right?
Yeah, and we still don't know what's going on with Elena's scepter.
Yes, that's right. Her scepter was still broken as of El Capitan, or was there? Yeah, because she didn't use it in Finding Zuzo, right?
Yep.
No, she didn't.
Oh my gosh, so much. Anyway, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We have so much to look forward to, but we are still screaming over the most recent episode, Snow Place Like Home. Am I right, girls?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Wasn't it
Yep.
so good? So,
Ooh.
right? We have Snow Place Like Home, and the episode opens with the royal family preparing for Navidad. The abuelas and Isa go off to the village to visit Christina, promising Elena they'll be back in time for Noche Buena. Soon after, Mateo and Naomi arrive with presents and holiday wishes, but end up stuck in the castle when a freak blizzard hits. Elena takes it upon herself to be the spirit of Navidad, trying her best to cheer up her friends and Esteban. But it doesn't quite work as she'd hoped. Eventually, however, it all comes together when Mateo saves the day, clearing up the storm. We see families of all kinds throughout the episode. Elena's family by blood and the family she's chosen of her amigos. Gabe's family with his guards, and even the villains managed to give us some amazing family feels in this beautiful and touching episode. Okay, guys, let's get down to business. So, what did you girls think about the song Home for Navidad?
Beautiful.
It was so good.
It was so
nice
full
to
of
see it.
energy.
Yeah, nice to see it in action, especially since we heard it almost a year ago.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true. How it was combined with all these Christmas traditions and the family being so bonded and happy.
Yeah, did you guys catch all of those sweet family moments, especially with Esteban?
Of course.
Yes.
I
You
couldn't.
even asked me that.
I know, right? Silly question. I couldn't help but wonder, like, some of the little, like, scenes if they had Elena teasing him on purpose, kind of like a throwback to, remember in First Day of Rule when she was choosing her Grand Council, and she purposely, chose other people first.
Oh, left him out for...
But then you could see the look in her eyes. She was totally picking on him.
Yes.
Cousinly love to do.
Well, these two did grow up together, if you think about it. She probably almost always teased him.
Oh, absolutely.
It's kind of funny if you think about it.
Right? And he
Now I'm
always had
picturing
that
Elena always being the one to tease him growing up, not the other way around.
It makes sense.
And how far has he come in the last few years to be smiling and dancing along with his family?
And picking up the presents.
Yes.
He's such a child.
Exactly. Remember how, like, stiff he was back in First Day of Rule when she was singing Ready to Rule? He's, like, rolling his eyes and, just shaking his head.
Exactly.
But now he's singing and dancing and peeking at presents and eating cookies.
Yes.
So
He
cute.
was in him the whole time.
Exactly. So, after Naomi and Mateo show up with presents, we see...
One of the presents drop on the floor. That looks like suspiciously like an Ola ball for Gabe.
Yes.
And then it cuts to Gabe on Migs with the two guards from the guard chasing after Victor and Carla. And in order to lose them, Victor casts a spell, which is a snowstorm, and it started to spiral out of control.
Mhm.
And booyaka shaka, you heard it here first. Podcast princesses, holla at your last episode. A fun fact for you guys, New Zealand is the first country to see the sun, so technically I'm in the future, baby.
Yes.
You're a wizard, Chrissy.
I'm Chagrid, oh yeah.
Or maybe Chris Grid?
Chris Grid. Sounds like a ship name. Okay, so they comment that it's weird having Gabe away, and as Chrissy predicted, he was
Dun, dun,
away
dun.
chasing down wizards, and the wizards were responsible for the snow. So, how sweet was Elena trying to keep everyone's Navidad spirits high?
Such a
Aw,
good
it
friend
was-
and a great ruler.
Yeah, it was kind of heartbreaking, but also so sweet. Like, she cared more about making others happy than she did not let her sadness get to her, although she was worried about her family coming back for Navidad.
And she put her own, like you said, she put her own feelings aside, because clearly just minutes ago she was so sad that she was already separated from her family, even though they were just gone on a little trip. But she put that aside to care for her friends' needs and Esteban's needs as far as keeping their Navidad spirits high.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I loved the snowball, her suggestion of a snowball fight. Wasn't that adorable?
Whacking
Yes.
Mateo with a snowball.
And then the treasure hunt, I thought that was so cute too. And
How much fun would it be running around that palace with a treasure hunt, honestly?
there'd be so many hiding places.
I'm still laughing at
Ooh.
Esteban shoving poor Mateo around trying to get to the...
Or Mateo with
Me
his
too.
day off.
He pushed on
Oh,
the
poor
ground.
Mateo.
No wonder he blew up at the end. And what about that Christmas tree? Loaded
Oh, yeah, it was
So
down.
many
decorated.
decorations. Over decorated, eh?
It does not compare to Mateo's gingerbread house, though, with a
Oh,
small
Rafa.
gingerbread Rafa.
So sad.
Esteban, that was my mom.
That was amazing.
Eating Rafa like that.
I'm still laughing at that.
crying at that part.
Oh, the little gingerbread Rafa.
I know. She was so cute. And he did such a good job decorating her.
I know.
I feel like we should all be making like sad little gingerbread Rafas for Christmas this year.
Oh,
Yes.
the
We should make that
artistry.
into a contest.
All right, who can make the best Rafa?
Yes.
Or make her a
Let me see,
happy
we
one.
count
Because
on
I
you.
feel like that sad gingerbread one just left me like feelings.
Follow our
Need to
Twitter
help.
page for the next contest with the podcast princesses. Who can make the happiest Rafa? Coming soon.
We'll do it.
So-
Bonus, who makes a small gingerbread Mateo?
Ooh, okay, I'm down for that.
It's on now.
Challenge accepted.
Oh.
And then Elena gets them all together to make tamales.
Mm.
And that's
Sorry.
when we get the straw that broke the camel's back.
Esteban is so anxious and is quick to, and it's all like, oh, let's make the tamales quick, and everyone gets, big. Oh,
And then Luna
yeah.
comes barging in with that twine. It's very cat-like references.
It was so cute, though.
She's so cute.
And then-
I loved Luna. So
Oh my gosh, Luna's lines were the best in this episode.
It was
Sound
hilarious.
Yeah.
What all did she say to Esteban? Someone needs a little more Feliz in their Navidad.
Oh, and like the thing about the Chancellor Sourpuss. I think she
Yes.
said that too.
Oh, I had
was
forgotten
great.
about that.
And then just the like ongoing joke of her playing with the ball of string like a giant kitty.
Yes, it was gorgeous.
Cute is
So
that?
cute.
Those cute like antics made Esteban spill all of that onto Elena.
Yes. After he threw the tamales in the pot without tying them up, which I've made tamales before, and I remember if I don't tie mine up, they fall apart. But apparently Jenny is a wizard because she says she doesn't need to tie up her tamales.
Everyone's a wizard.
Anybody who
Spanish
makes that
princess
little
stuff.
tamales work.
Basically.
So Elena finally just loses it, and she tells everyone I've been trying to lift your spirits all this time, and you guys didn't even notice. Was anyone else heartbroken for her?
I think that's the most dramatic thing about Elena. She tries to be so strong for everyone and hide how afraid or sad she is. Not only in this episode, but when she has to face dangers and care for her kingdom, and she's carrying all this burden alone. And now it finally shows, and it's just so sad.
It is. And then we see her in her room.
With her angst song. Did anyone notice
The-
that it was the same
the-
tune from My
It's
Fair
My
Naomi?
Fair Naomi. Well done,
It
AOA.
is.
I thought that was good.
Yeah, it's like her blues song. So back in the kitchen, we have basically, did anyone else notice that throwback to Finders Leapers with the slow clap from Esteban? Well done, everyone. Well done.
Yes.
Patronizing as usual.
Exactly. So
Although I love Naomi marching over there and sticking her finger right in his face.
that shows character growth
She
on
finally
her
pulled it
part.
out.
I loved it.
Yes, good on her.
Chancellor Esteban. She was getting right up in there.
You messed up.
Yeah, right? She's going to give it to him. And how funny was Mateo's Esteban impression?
It was
Spot
amazing.
That was gold. Well done. That was so funny.
And those lines were delivered perfectly.
To be honest, all of the Mateo and Esteban interaction in this episode was golden.
Yes.
It's the interaction we've been waiting for. The one we
Yes.
didn't know we need, but we want.
And now we want
They gave
more.
it to us anyway.
Yes.
But then as Naomi's letting him have it, and then Mateo joins in, and vice versa, he finally cracks and shares what has been bothering him.
The backstory.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes. So
We've been waiting for
apparently,
months.
right? For years. So we find out that his anxiety, like this is all of this trouble that he sort of caused, has come from losing his parents in a freak blizzard when he was a child. So it's really kind of cool to finally see a bit more of what makes Esteban tick, you know?
Yeah, and he also opened up about it to Mateo and Naomi of all people when
He's normally
When
quite
you-
secretive, private.
yeah, it was really sad.
And it's nice to see that, like, maybe he kind of thinks of them as family also.
Oh,
But
Familia forever.
familia forever.
Yay!
Well, everyone was in the song, so.
Right?
True.
Did anyone notice that his parents' ship went down in the North Sea? Does that ring a bell to anyone?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Who
That's
else
like,
comes from the North?
the northern
Shariki.
islands. Yes.
Shariki came from the Northern Islands.
Oh, this is right.
Coincidence?
I don't know if there's any. I don't know. It would be interesting, though.
Sure would.
There's so much we don't know about Shariki anyway.
Plot twist. There was a connection. Maybe not.
Who knows?
Right?
We just have to wait and suffer.
Indeed. So, what about that treasure hunt that they put together as an apology for Elena?
Oh my
so
god.
sweet.
Yes.
It was so sweet.
I loved how everyone's letter was written in so in character. Like you could tell which character was who by not just by elements of the story, but also by the way they spoke in that letter.
Yeah, they
Um,
kept the voice.
Yeah, good writing.
Yes, it was excellent writing. You could just
The
see how.
epiphany.
Yes, exactly. And Elena was so happy. You could tell it really touched her heart, which is just, those are Elena kind of gifts. So then this leads to Mateo's magic saving the day. And I guess I should mention that, first he tried to use a spell to stop the storm, and he got rushed through it, which caused
Which
the
is
storm.
not like Mateo at all.
Right?
He's very methodical with
It's-
how he approaches things.
He is, and it's a lesson in being careful with magic. Don't rush it, which is what he's been saying since the beginning. But how impressive was that? That's huge storm. Like, it covered Avalor and Cordoba. And
We saw that with the
Mateo's-
bridge, yes.
Yes, they crossed into Cordoba. That's a huge storm.
How did Victor even do that?
I know. And then, but Mateo's storm, like, Mateo not only doubled the storm, but then his spell stopped the whole thing even after it was doubled. Like, how cool is that? And how much growth does that show
I know.
from when he was
Nice.
dropping presents on the floor?
He's grown so
Exactly.
much.
This is the year of growth.
Yes.
Exactly.
But yeah, like, he has grown so much, and I'm just so impressed. But now let's move on and talk about
Wait. Can we stop right there?
Yeah. What's up, Jenny?
Can we just? Okay, sorry. I really try really hard not to make her shippy, you guys. But can I just have this one moment? Can we all have this moment to scream about the fact that Mateo finally got hugged by Elena?
Yes! Oh my god, yes! The best! We've been waiting for this.
We, no joke, we incoherently screamed together.
Not even joking. And I think a little bit of shipping here is okay, because if they didn't want us to ship it, they wouldn't make these moments between Elena and Mateo so darn cute.
But
And
please
Lord
don't
Honey,
scream
you know, we
about
are screaming all day long.
Please keep doing that.
it. Yes,
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
Yes, please.
that is not an
COT, we
invitation to stop
love
making it so
you.
cute.
Okay, and rewind.
Okay. We've got that out of our system for the moment. Until the next time. Gabe was incredible this episode. Even though we only saw a little bit of him, I loved the moments we saw of Gabe with his soldiers.
Oh my gosh.
Cried.
How has he
Yes.
grown into that captain of the guard, though? Ugh. Yay, Gabe.
Yeah.
I was
Amelia-
honestly crying. It
Yes.
was
Oh,
so cute.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he did such a great job though. Like you can definitely see his character growth too. Again, like it's another episode with another character growth, but like he was so positive and he was able to find like a reason to celebrate even though they were stuck in a cold cave in the middle of a blizzard. But yet he was still really uplifting to both the troops and his Jacquelines, and he was pretending like the food was all the Navidad treats, and he was just so positive and perfect, and oh my gosh, I'm dead.
Yes.
Yay, Gabe!
And it was funny.
Yeah.
In the beginning, Elena mentioned how she mentioned Gabe, and it wasn't the same without him there. And it's so funny because I was actually thinking the same thing. It felt kind of weird that he wasn't able to interact with all his friends, but still, it was such a
I
sweet
know.
moment he had with them.
It was worth
Yeah.
it. So we see in the middle of the snowstorm, we saw the Delgados. Victor finally pushed Cruz too far.
We did
And
see snippets of that with Shariki and Song of Sardinas when she kept calling him Beast. He started to get quite snippy there. So that was a very good indication of how he was feeling about that.
Absolutely. And I always thought that Victor was a little more charismatic, I guess, charming than Shariki. So I'm a little surprised that, he couldn't, hold his power trip together to get what he wanted.
We picked
he
up
was
her
getting
habits.
Right? I guess so. Hang around with jerks long enough and you'll become one.
Mm-hmm.
Although he did have that really nice, touching moment right after.
He did.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
my heart.
He's an actual father after all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he
I've
acted
been waiting to see that father-daughter interaction. So, I mean, just seeing it just made me, I was so excited to see it.
Yes.
I know, you see that he
Presents all
actually
around.
cares.
I have to applaud the EOA team for giving us villains with humanity. Like,
Yes.
I have a reason to really care about them. It's awesome.
Well, they never failed us before, so.
Yeah, exactly. Also, the way Carla kind of just snuggles into her father's embrace, I was just like, oh.
Right? She feels so
Yeah, you can
safe with
see-
him.
As a
Yeah, you
complete
can-
daddy's girl, yes.
Yeah.
That hit me right there.
I think in this episode you can see that it's more apparent that Carla is, still a very young adult teen. We don't know her exact age, but you can see that she craves for her parents' love. And I may have spoiled something for her from the end, though.
That's okay.
Not too much. I think we're good.
So speaking of the end, how about that last song, Hearts Full of Cheer?
Oh my gosh, we have been teased for a year about this, and to see it was absolutely
Gather
beautiful.
near.
Oh,
We want
yes.
to full of
Yes. Tears.
How many feels can you squeeze into 2 minutes? Like, seriously.
so many.
I am so surprised by their ability to give us so many feels in just an
Talented.
episode.
Yeah.
Absolutely talented, the EOA crew. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Just starting off with all the family together and the friends there in the parlor, like, that was sweet. But then, we got Esteban and Isabel moments, and Luna acting adorable, and Mateo snuggling his mother, like, my heart. But then we get to the line, for those who cannot be with us, for those who have traveled afar, and we see Gabe with his soldiers, and they're flying, because, they've gotten out of the cave, but they're flying, and I guess they're still looking, they're on their mission, and that hit me.
I just want to say something so beautiful was the background and the night sky and the moon. Beautiful. Yes. Absolutely beautiful.
It was gorgeous.
Gabe got some amazing lighting this episode.
And the cave.
It was very flattering.
Yeah.
Very.
But I have to say that just for me personally, that moment, as much of a Mateo fangirl as I am, that moment hit me hard, because I don't know if I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but my husband is in the military. And so I could really relate to this with the friends and family back home, thinking positive thoughts about their loved ones who are away. And this was just a really beautiful tribute to families who are in that same kind of situation. Anyway, I could just really relate to it, and I'm not gonna lie, I ugly cried.
No, it's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And honey, I'm gonna jump in there straight to Mama DeGaldo. Damn!
Right? Just when we thought we
With
couldn't
all
have
those
any more
speculations.
feelings, they put more on.
Yes. Did anyone expect that?
No, I was not expecting that at all. I definitely screamed.
Yes,
I think something was going to be in that part, honestly, when we
Did hear you.
Yeah. I expected Gabe to come back maybe, or the rest of the
Yeah.
family.
Big fort.
Not Carla to get this look of sweet, like, excitement over seeing, I'm assuming it's her mother. We don't know that for sure, but...
She
I'm
did
pretty
say
sure it's her
mommy.
mother.
So...
Oh, she did say mommy. You're
She
right.
did.
See?
She did say mommy, yeah.
Important detail. So, seeing her mother,
And
like...
she sounded so at peace with that. Like, wow, mommy, it was soft and wow, it was really sweet.
Yeah, so ugly crying intensifies.
Yeah.
And we also get a little hint there that she's also some kind of wizard, which I believe Chrissy and Amelia will talk more about later. But,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but you know, questions. We have so many questions about this woman.
Yep.
But then the camera goes back to the family and friends in the parlor, and we see that beautiful illustration right before the end credits.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was so sweet. It's it's now my Christmas background. Best thing, wallpaper.
Everyone's background right now.
That was so
cute.
beautiful to
Basically.
do. It was a beautiful ending.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's just me, but does not the illustration kind of remind you of the classic illustration in Disney's Christmas Carol in the ending when it's Scrooge and Mickey and
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yeah, and the
yeah.
mistletoe around. Yeah, I don't know.
It
It
really
reminded me of
does.
that.
Yeah,
I never even thought of
If
that.
it
That's
was
so
indeed a
cool.
homage, then like really good reference. I upload that.
that was
Beautiful.
an awesome throwback to a classic. And how cute was it that each of the three, Esteban, Mateo, and Naomi, in that image got exactly what they'd been missing the whole episode. Esteban got his presents because he was like peeking under the tree at the beginning. Mateo got the gingerbread house with his mother, and Naomi got the cookies with her mom and dad.
And
Yeah.
Luna and Isabel playing with the little bauble was beautiful.
Oh, it was so cute.
Aw.
And it just, it tied it all together.
It's now an instant Christmas classic.
I think
Yes.
so. More
Yep.
people need to know about this.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay, so we've been through the whole episode, and now let's talk about our favorite parts. Chrissy, what was your favorite part?
Oh, honey, I don't want to be shippy, but that hug-a-lug-a-lug, baby. Oh, that was honestly what we've been waiting for so long, us shippy Alito fans. But it was absolutely beautiful. No, everything was done really well done. Thank you guys. Loved it.
Jenny? I already know what you're going to say, but please.
You know what I'm gonna say. Oh my gosh! Of course, the hug was my favorite. But anyways, yeah, I totally love that hug. I mean, I was like really pulling for a hug by the end of 2018. If you guys remember my little hashtag project.
That was
Of course we
the
do.
best.
Let them hug. Let them hug.
Hashtag
let them hug.
2K18.
Best
So-
campaign ever.
So honestly, this was like the best Christmas ever for me, as you can tell. And but of course, that was my favorite part. And then also seeing all the Esteban and Mateo interaction. I love seeing them interact all the way back in Island of Youth, which was like one of my episodes. So seeing them kind of like continue that kind of interaction through this episode was really fun. Like I said, it was like getting Christmas presents all around with these guys. So thank you guys. I'm still screaming.
Amelia?
Oh gosh. So like the whole episode, I guess, but to narrow it down. So the hug was definitely one of my top favorites. But I also have to say that Gabe, the whole part with Gabe and him being just him being so like uplifting and sweet and positive the whole time. It made me like so happy because in case no one knows, he's one of my favorite characters. And I just really loved seeing that side of him, and I can't wait to see where his storyline is going too. And so I really enjoyed that part, I think, the most.
Georgia?
Oh, well, how can someone possibly choose a favorite moment? But since we did mention it, I mean, I loved all the family moments. They were so good. Also, I'm so happy we finally learned part of Esteban's backstory. I'm sure there's more in store, but that felt like ages, and it was so satisfying. And also, one of my favorite moments was when the abuelos and Isabel returned, and Esteban rushed to hug the abuelos, and he was so happy. But then he went to Isabel and lifted her, and he was like, "And our very own Navidad angel," and that was adorable. My heart is full of rainbows.
Love it.
Family bonding, yay!
Yes.
All right, Becky, what was your favorite part?
My favorite part, gosh, like you all have said, the whole episode was incredible, and I'm not gonna lie.
Tell us about your baby.
Just say it, Becky.
I love the hug! Okay, but also, I also loved that Mateo saved the day. I loved seeing his growth in his skills as a wizard. And then I also loved seeing Gabe with his soldiers. Again, like that just really like hit home with me. It was good. Just so good. So anyway. Okay.
It's like the entire team knew what we wanted for Christmas and gave us each one.
I know.
Exactly.
We owe you our souls.
Sorry, I'm not trying to make it about us. No.
We already got our souls though.
But
what else can we give you? Tell us.
Right? So I know I've said it 1,000 times since we watched this last weekend, but I'm going to say it again. Wow. That episode was incredible. It had so much heart and so many fascinating little details for anyone to find who's looking for them. Like the fact that we have a brand new character that we didn't even know existed until this episode. That's right, I'm talking about Mommy Delgado. And the fact that she's clearly a wizard, but what's not so clear is if she's a Malvago or not. Let me tell you, this is a topic that we as the podcast princesses have spent quite a bit of time discussing back and forth. And it got us thinking, all of the Malvagos here on the series that we've met have some kind of animal theme on their robe/tambourina. And we couldn't help but wonder what kind of symbolism might be behind the design choices. So Lady C and Lady A have done quite a bit of research on this topic, and they found some amazing things that I know they are excited to share. Ladies?
Woohoo! Thank you, Becky. All right, absolutely. Something that we've noticed about our resident Malvagos is that they all have an animal totem on their robes, which led us curious to see how close do their animal totems match their corresponding personality. All right, first up is old Fierro himself. Fierro has a snake animal totem present on both his robes and bang smack in that middle of his tamborita. So what the snake totem tells us is they tend to act according to their own judgments, even while remaining most private. Snakes prefer to work alone, and they are also determined to accomplish their goals and hate to fail, which we see straight away in Spellbound, with Fierro by himself entering that palace on his own mission to get that Codex Maru, and we see how mad and frustrated he was at the end battle when Mateo snagged that Codex Maru back. And we also know that Fierro was next in line to become Royal Wizard, but Alakazar was named instead. So it has been Fierro's lifelong mission to bestow his revenge. However, not giving up, Fierro was finally given the opportunity to become the Royal Malvago if Shuriki did in fact begin her rule again. Physically, Fierro does have snake-like attributes like those piercing green eyes, his elongated face and nose, as well as those sharp features, just like the way his hair is slicked into a long point, as well as his beard. Also, the train on his robe. If you guys watch him walk, it actually catches the breeze and trails behind him, just like the tail of a snake. Snakes also represent the symbol of wisdom. They are intelligent and wise, and they are good at communication, but say little. Snakes are usually regarded as great thinkers. I would say, as well as cunning, Fierro is definitely an intelligent Malvago, as he was able to perform advanced spells. It was very fortunate that an even smarter royal wizard was able to beat him at his own game and used his spell against him and turn him into a statue once again in Song of the Sirenas.
Oh, yeah, and also Fierro was able to cast spells without his tambourine, like when he added his name to the invite list in Gabe's hand in Spellbound, and also when he made poor Victor Delgado hush up when they were eavesdropping on Mateo and Elena in the Scepter of Night.
Oh my gosh, yes, that's right, he did too. Quite a clever Malvago indeed.
Right? And it also makes me wonder if we'll ever get to see Mateo use that kind of non-tambourine magic too. But Exactly. And speaking of not so stealthy, Victor, one of our other favorite Malvagos, also has an animal in the middle of his tambourita and on the collar of his robes, which is a scorpion. So, from what I've read, the scorpion totem has a lot of different characteristics that really seem to go along with Victor's personality actually really well. So, the scorpion, much like its appearance, can be a bit foreboding, yet it's also more complex than what first meets the eye. So, scorpions are patient and cunning and wait for the exact moment before they decide to pounce on their prey. They're also very adaptable and can thrive in harsh conditions and are ready for anything and make the most of each moment. Scorpions also strongly symbolize control, survival, passion, treachery, protection, defensiveness, and solitude, which, if you think about it, can pretty much all be seen in Victor just in this past episode.
Mm.
He's technically shown treachery in basically every episode since he decided to join Shariki, but he also shows his want for control when he keeps calling Cruz and Bestia beasts and keeps ordering them around, which he then gets all defensive about when Carla calls him out on it, of course. And then afterwards, he and Carla have to go in survival mode to get through the storm. But then his passion and protectiveness really shines through after Carla gets hurt and he runs to her and carries her to safety, which was a really sweet moment that I really enjoyed.
Oh, me too. That last symbol of solitude kind of in all the episodes too. I feel like right because in previous episodes and especially in the beginning of this one, it's basically just Victor and Carla on their own against the world, so to say.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of which, the Delgado duo would not be complete without Carla, who has her own animal totem on her robes and tamarita too, which is the spider. So, personally speaking, spiders, well, let's just say they're not at the top of my favorite animal list, but once again, the spider totem actually seems to fit Carla like perfectly. So, the first thing that really stood out to me is that spiders are patient and long suffering because they carefully weave intricate webs and wait for their prey to come. So I don't know about you guys, but I immediately thought of Carla's whole plot as Rita when she was in the spy in the palace and how she had to be patient and carefully devise complicated plans in order to manipulate people and get her prey, or in this case, the crown jewels. I found that the spider totem also represents a balance between light and dark, or good and evil, which I thought was was interesting considering Carla's kind of a megalomaniac, I guess, at least of currently.
You think she's going to have a character redemption arc?
Honestly, I have no clue, but it's certainly open for possibility, I think. So, some other symbols of the spider totem, though, were intelligence, craftiness, cunningness, mystery, creation, resourcefulness, protection, strategy, and rebirth. So, it's funny how well some of these seem to be so similar to the scorpion traits, but they're just different enough to give Carla her very own personality and separate animal totem. And again, I feel like we've seen Carla exhibit these different symbols and traits throughout the several episodes too, especially her craftiness and cunningness and her strategy. She definitely knows how to influence people. But that leaves us to wonder if she possibly would have inherited some of these symbolic spider traits from her mom, perhaps?
Oh, yes. Okay, so that leaves us with our last Malvago, Mama Delgado. So the very first thing we learn about Malvagos is that they have a black tambourita from Mateo and Spellbound, and besides the fact her robe is white, her tambourita is in fact silver, not black, like Fierro, Victor, and Carla. Okay, I have a few speculations on the couple of shots we have seen from the last episode's No Place Like Home. Is that she has a white robe with a blue-grey shawl and her arms have a feather-like pattern. We also see around her chest areas a mask-like detail with a jewel right below, which to me looks like a beak. Also, the little details on the outside of her tambourita look like a little owl with their cute little toes. I personally think that her totem animal is a snow owl. So I did a little research on what a snow owl totem would represent, as we have like little to none information on Mrs. Delgado, only that Carla said when she transformed into a Malvago, if only Mother could see us now. Okay, what I found on the snow owl was the intuition, ability to see what others do not see. The presence of owl announces change, capacity to see beyond deceit and masks, wisdom, and of course the traditional meaning of the owl spirit totem is the announcer of death, most likely symbolic like a life transition change. So what the main theme for this animal totem is change. Perhaps she was an evil Malvago at some stage and has transformed into a wizard. Or maybe it was reversed. She was a wizard and transformed to a Malvago.
I know. And as soon as this mysterious lady had made her debut, all of us podcast apprentices just kind of went into a frenzy discussing what animals she could represent. And I know our very own Lady Becky has one thought of a swan, which symbolizes change as well. And we also discussed the thought of maybe a falcon. So maybe she could be nimble, quick thinking, and highly intelligent as well.
Whatever the case may be about Mama Delgado, Amelia and I have loved reading up about the corresponding total animals and our beloved Malvagos.
Wow, girls, that was such a great analysis, Chrissy and Amelia. Thank you. So speaking of cast wardrobe choices, can I just say that I adored Elena's new dress?
Oh my god, it was beautiful.
Right?
Gorgeous.
I want one.
Me too.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I loved her new dress as well. It's so pretty. The white fabric and contrasting red poinsettias are gorgeous. Also, fun fact about the poinsettia flowers, there's actually this legend, a Mexican legend, about a young girl and on Noche Buena, she has no gift to leave at the Christmas altar. So she's kind of sad about it. And she realizes that I guess the most important gift is a gift given from the heart. So she actually goes and picks weeds from, the ground and leaves them at the Christmas altar as a gift. And those weeds actually end up blooming into the red poinsettia flowers that we know today. I just thought it was kind of nice that it was in her dress because Lena was like the gift that kept giving, even when she was down in her own spirits, she
It's
was
beautiful.
still trying to give everyone the gift that mattered, which was them being together.
She's the keeper of the Navidad spirit.
Yeah, she is. So, her dress was gorgeous. And I remember seeing this a little while ago. And I'm actually going to mention it right now, but it's totally what my friends do. But there's this meme about talking about how on Christmas Eve, how you get all dressed up and extra just to show up at the family party and sit at a table. And that I feel like I do that a lot too. But anyways, I also want to mention her capelet. Right? Am I saying that right? Capelet?
Yeah, capelet. So cute.
Okay. I wanted to mention her little capelet. It was so cute. A nice outfit. Did anyone else notice the pattern on it?
Straight away.
The tambourine
Sorry.
pattern.
Similar to something.
So cute. So it was, pretty much like wearing Mateo's Letterman jacket, right?
Definitely.
No.
Basically.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
It's the closest thing to the pattern you're going to get.
I know. It was pretty much the pattern, just with like
it's like the
it
girly
was so
pattern.
pretty. And it was in the colors of the robe.
It was perfect for that scene as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly.
saying.
You're giving me memories of it.
Yes.
Make me scream again.
The whole outfit was just incredible, and I'm definitely not over how beautiful her dress was or how cool her little capelet was.
Yeah. Like I said, I love the fact that they had the poinsettia flowers, the traditional flower of Navidad. So on the note of traditions, I was thinking it'd be fun to discuss what we all do for Navidad. What do you guys think?
Oh, I think that would be great, especially since we're from all around the world.
Exactly. It's like it's a small world holiday.
That's perfect.
Podcast episode. Anyways. All right. So I just thought I'd bring up some of the stuff that we do. Like, the weeks leading up to Christmas, we totally start the tamale making and the Christmas, cookie making. Mainly the tamale making is what we look forward to because we only do it this one time a year. And basically we all just crowd up at my mom's house, make an assembly line, and then we're, just stuffing those things until it's dark. But the best part, of course, is waiting for them. And of course, I have that magic touch, apparently. Where I tie up my tamales. I swear it's not a magic trick.
Squish them together.
I don't tie up my tamales, I swear. My mom, she taught me how to just stack them up in the little steamer pot. I'm sure there's a more official name than it for that. Yeah, we just kind of stack them up until they're like right up on each other and they just manage to stay up.
Awesome.
Anyway. So we do that. We make tamales at my mom. Then on Noche Buena, we actually go over to my grandmother's house. She has a friend that does music and stuff. So she usually invites their family and they perform and we have, live music there at the time. We eat a lot of tamales. We usually bring hot so we could take some of them slowly home. Because we make a lot of it. And then usually by 8:00, everyone's a bit tired. So everyone starts kind of phasing out of the house. So after the party, me and my husband head out to his brother's house to celebrate them. And my husband's family is actually Puerto Rican, so they do things just a little bit differently. but we stay up until midnight, and then we start opening gifts at midnight with his family. It turns into like a all-night thing. And we have this Puerto Rican tamale called Delis. I don't know if anyone's tried it. They're not sweet. They're actually this Puerto Rican tamale made out of banana or something, and they're stuffed with meat, and they are delicious. I can promise you. If you've had tamales, they're great. If you can have a Puerto Rican tamale, they're just as great. You should totally not rob yourself of the opportunity. So the only thing that we really do a little bit different is January 6th, so after New Year's, we have this tradition called Dia de los Reyes, which is like the day of like the Three Kings, which is, you know, a religious day for us. But it's kind of like, it kind of takes the place of Santa Claus in Christmas, if that makes sense. I don't celebrate it completely to like tradition. For my kids, I just leave them a little tiny toy or something that they like into their shoes, and they wake up and get to play with that. But the most, like seriously, the funnest part about that tradition, the little Rosca de Reyes, where basically it's this ring of bread that you hide a baby Jesus in.
Yes, yes. I have heard of that one, funnily enough.
So basically the point of this bread is you basically stuff little, like traditionally I always find 3 of them. Well, I don't find them. I'm going to say I don't find them because then I had to make tamales. But there's these little baby Jesus that you put into the bread, and it's supposed to be a symbol of, you know, when you're cutting into the bread, I guess the finding him part is supposed to be like, if it's supposed to symbolize them, the struggle to find a place to stay, and then the knife is supposed to symbolize the danger, which I'm sure you guys can understand with that. But the whole point is everybody's trying to find the baby Jesus, but they're really not trying to find the baby Jesus, because if you find baby, you have to make tamales on February 2nd, and nobody wants to make tamales again. So that's what we get to do. We all like pretend like we're super excited to like cut into this bread, but we're all like secretly dreading the fact that we will have to make tamales in the next month.
Why don't you all make it together, Elena style?
Honestly, that's what we usually end up doing. We usually go to my mom, cry about it until she helps us.
Oh, that's a beautiful tradition.
Crying until she helps.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make that so long. I did say trying to make it short, but what do you guys do?
All right, okay. In New Zealand Christmas traditions, I have one that I'd love to share with you all. The Pahurikawa tree. The Pahurikawa tree, with its crimson flower, has become an established part of the New Zealand Christmas tradition. It's this beautiful red flower tree only flowers at Christmas time over here. So there is a Māori legend and lore that goes along with our beautiful Christmas tree. Pahurikawa and its cousin Rata also hold a prominent place within the Māori tradition. Legends tell of Tawhiki, a young Māori warrior who attempted to find heaven to seek help in avenging his father's death. However, on his journey to the heavens above, he misstepped and fell to earth, and it's said that the crimson flowers are said to represent his blood. So yeah, there is also an old twisted pahurikawa off the windswept cliff at Cape Reinga and northern tip of New Zealand, and this has become great significance to many New Zealanders. So for Māori, this small respected pahurikawa is known as the place of leaping, and it is from here that the spirits of the dead begin their journey to their homeland of Hawiki. From this point, the spirits leap off the headland and climb down the roots of the 800-year-old tree, descending into the underworld on their return journey. Yeah, also off topic, just a little tad off topic, but a quick Disney fun fact about New Zealand is that in the song You're Welcome from Moana, when Maui sings about pulling islands from the sea, one of the legends in New Zealand is that Maui actually used his Zealand out of the sea, and that's why New Zealand is in the shape of a fish and a hook, which is a North and South Island. So there you go, a little tidbit.
That is neat.
Because Maui is a huge influence on New Zealand culture. We learn about Maui in school and all the different things that he's done, like pulling the sun. That's actually in New Zealand culture we learn about. So Maui is heavenly. He's heavily influenced in New Zealand. So yeah, I just thought I'd give you that whilst we're speaking of Māori legend.
That's so cool.
Like, if you guys look up pahurikawa, it's like nothing you've ever seen before. They're beautiful flowers.
They sound gorgeous.
Alrighty, so that's me. Amelia, what do you have next?
All right. Well, my traditions are pretty normal, but I guess my family does do something a little bit different because even though we're from Oregon, we're actually predominantly Norwegian because my great grandma was an immigrant from Norway. So we celebrate our main Christmas on Christmas Eve, which turns out to be a kind of Norwegian tradition because in Norway, that's when Santa Claus, or Julenissen, as they pronounce it over there, soars through the skies, and so that's what they consider their main Christmas. And so we go over to my grandma's house, and we have a really big meal with lots of like homemade Norwegian foods like lefse and lutefisk, and we have like pork ribs and stuff because that's what they normally eat over there. And then afterwards, we exchange gifts, and we just kind of hang out until around midnight, and then we all go home early in the morning, and that's basically our main Christmas. So it's pretty fun.
That sounds
Norway
fun.
as in Vikings?
Yeah, basically.
Yay!
Nice.
That is wicked awesome, Amelia.
What about you, Georgia?
Oh, well, so basically in Greece there are a lot of Christmas traditions depending on where you live, but most celebrated pretty simple ways. Basically, on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, children roam the neighborhood and go to every house and sing carols that are for this specific day, and the people treat them with candy or money, and we also make lots of sweets for the holidays. Yeah, for example, we make viples, which is a dough like sweet that's deep fried and covered with syrup and nuts. We also got kurabiedes, which is a name derived from the Turkish kurabiye, which means biscuit, and it's basically a butter biscuit that's covered with sugar. And we also got malomakarona, which are also biscuit-like sweets covered with dipped in honey syrup and nuts, and they're really tasty. Okay, on Christmas we mostly go to church and celebrate, in a family, just close family circle, have dinner, so nothing really special other than going to church. Most things happen on Christmas, on New Year's Eve, because that's when Santa Claus comes and brings the gifts for the children, and it's also when we cut this cake for the new year that's called basilopita, which has a hidden coin in it, and whoever gets the coin in their slice is going to be lucky for the rest of the year. I think that's one of the most well-known traditions. And basically, yeah, there are lots of them, but these are some of the most prominent. Oh, and also instead of a Christmas tree, the actual Greek tradition dictates that in the actual Greek tradition, you decorate a ship instead of a Christmas tree, because Greece is actually connected to the sea and has a long tradition with that. But most people actually decorate a tree because, Germans actually brought it here. Yeah, that's basically it.
That's really
That's
cool.
really
So
cool. I like the ship bit. It's like Naomi.
Yeah, it's kind of like. So, Becky, what about you?
Oh, yeah. So, until we moved overseas, we just had pretty typical American traditions, get together for dinner, presents on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, that kind of thing, which we still do. It's awesome and we love it. But since we moved overseas to Germany, we've learned a lot of really new, really cool traditions that our neighbors do. And it's really fun to join in the celebrations with them. One thing we're doing this year with our girls is we're celebrating St. Nicholas Day, which is on December 6th. And St. Nicholas Day, the kids put their shoes outside the door the night before, and legend has it that St. Nicholas comes by and puts a little treat in their shoes. So we're going to do that with the girls, and I think they're going to be really excited. And then another big tradition around here is, and really over Europe in general, but especially in Germany, the Christmas markets. Those open up right at the end of Thanksgiving, a lot of time at the beginning of Advent, actually. And Germany loves community. They love coming together as a community to eat and drink and celebrate things together. And there's just nothing quite so fun as going to these Christmas markets, and they're all lit up at night, and it's kind of cold outside, but there's like these booths with hot drinks, and I love Glühwein. It's awesome, but it's like hot wine, so not for kids. But aside from that,
An adult tradition.
It is an adult tradition, although they do have what they call Kinder Punch, which I think is the non-alcoholic version of that. But anyway, just getting together, like going out with friends and family and just hanging out at this very festive place, I don't know, it just does something for the heart. It's great. So anyway, it's just been really fascinating learning these new traditions as we've experienced the culture here overseas. So I just have to say that I really love hearing about all of your holiday traditions. It's so cool how many ways there are to celebrate the holidays with our families. So now let's just switch gears a little and talk about this week's character spotlight, which is, drumroll please, Esteban. Yes, our favorite Chancellor and Elena's best cousin, hands down. So today, to talk about the amazing character development we've seen from our beloved Chancellor Sourpuss, Esteban, is our very own Georgia.
Hello. Well, thank you, Becky. Actually, I want to thank all of the podcast princesses for giving me the chance. I have always wanted to rant about Esteban for 4 minutes straight, but I'll try to keep it short. I think we can all agree that our dearest Chancellor has grown so much throughout the series, like one of the most prominent character developments out there. He was always a pretty complex personality. However, in this episode, I think you can see the length of his growth, but also see how much the same he has remained. Like he's still pretty impatient. He can be kind of immature and snotty. However, he's much more pleasant to be around than in the first episodes. You can clearly see he's enjoying the time with his family, and also he's much more positive to Elena's enthusiasm, and he has I think he has kind of retreated back to his teen self in a way, back when his family was all still happy, and before Suriki, because he's so happy to return to the old ways of celebrating. You can also see how his relationship with his cousins has changed. He was so much, as we mentioned before, he was so annoyed at Elena singing in first day of rule, but now he's just so eager to celebrate with her. Also with Lisa, although we have seen that he has a soft spot for her. An example, in King of the Carnival, he could not deny helping her with the float, despite having to chase after Victor Delgado. But now it's much more prominent how he has a weakness for her, the baby of the family. I think his relationship has also developed with Elena's friends. He has warmed up to the idea of them hanging around in the castle, like with Matteo. He did treat him a lot like he did in Island of Youth, but he has much more. He believes much more in his abilities as a royal wizard, and he has proved himself plenty of times. Also, you got Naomi. I think that's one of the dynamics that have the most development in the series, thinking about it. But for both of them, So I can say that I was positively surprised when he talked to them about his past and how he lost his parents. I don't think we could imagine him talking about it in an earlier episode, like in Finder Sleepers, when he was still really mad about Naomi being in the Grand Council. Yeah, it's nice to see him keeping all his old mannerisms, like the well done, as we said before, the clapping and being all sarcastic and smug and snotty. But he's revealing more and more how he loves his family, how he is good-hearted and would actually do anything to protect his family and kingdom. And I think that's also heartbreaking because it will eventually lead up to the reveal of his betrayal. The more he's warming up to his family and getting their love, the more heartbreaking it will be when they find out that he ended up hurting them so much. What do you guys think?
I definitely agree. He has grown so much in the last 2 years. It's really incredible. And we've seen little hints of it leading up to here, but then we got this huge, like, concentrated dose of Esteban feels this episode.
The best of feels.
Yes, the best. It really was. And he was just so sweet. It's been like a treat to see him, like, loosen up and let his true self shine through. I just have to say that it kind of, like, I'm really worried for him because he's opening up so much and becoming so vulnerable by letting all of this out, that what's going to happen when he finally deals with his past and when everyone finds out, because you know it's going to happen eventually.
Exactly. However, I'm positive about it because I am sure that Esteban would never hurt his family again. There were doubts that he may betray them again or care more about power than his family, but I think that's no option.
Nope.
Like, please.
Exactly.
He loves them.
Absolutely. Like, there is no question.
Both his cousins and his abuelos.
Absolutely. Yeah. No.
Esteban, the Esteban. Where do we start? Like exactly what you guys said. I know he's truly, truly, truly sorry for what he's done, and as you both have said, it'll be very, very interesting to see how he does, like, sort of react when they do find out the potential truth.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
like we said, Esteban really has grown so much as a character, and just like you guys, I can't wait to see where his story takes him next. So thanks, Georgia, for shedding a little light on our Chancellor. Speaking of future stories, let's talk about some of the upcoming episodes that we have yet to discover their titles, but we do have a few tidbits to go on. So to start with, we love speculating on episodes. I love doing it, even though I'm wrong half of the time. Yet somehow 2 years later, I'm still doing it. So I guess this is the part where I warn you that we are about to enter theoretical spoiler territory. And I say theoretical because everything beyond this part is, well, theory. But there's your warning. So if you don't want to hear potential spoilers or us predicting the future or being wrong, then you should turn it off right now. All right? So let's get started. We know that we have an episode coming up that's going to explore the mother-son relationship between Rafa and Mateo. And we know this thanks to a tweet almost 2 years ago by Craig Gerber that he responded to...
Stop, whoa. Craig, I'm so sorry if you're listening for my Kiwi accent, for pronouncing your last name wrong. Genuinely, I'm sorry. It's just an accent. It's not like Gerber or Gerber. I'm truly sorry. Back to you, Vicky.
Thanks, Chrissy. Anyway, so Craig Gerber responded to some artwork that Jenny had posted on her Twitter. Beautiful artwork, by the way, of Mama Rafa and baby Mateo. Yes.
He was the cutest.
Wasn't that the best? And I think that was like your second piece of fan art contribution to the fandom, right? Like,
yes, that was so long ago.
It was. like I just met you when you were drawing that. I remember.
Exactly.
So great.
I know. Oh.
And just the first of many, many more to come. But he had commented on it and shed light on the fact that we were going to get an episode at the end of this year exploring that relationship, which we've been excited about ever since. This was like the summer or fall of 2017. So, a while back. Anyway, so did anyone else get the feeling that in this last episode, it really set us up for this upcoming episode with Rafa and Mateo feels, just between like his regard for his mother and the clear, sweet bond that they have together at the end with all those cuddles? Did anyone else get that feeling?
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just like in Spellbound, when she's like, stand up, it's mommy, and stand up straight.
Yeah.
He's like, yes, mom.
But
yes, she's definitely proud for him.
Oh, definitely. But this time, I think this is the first time we really got a sense that, like, you can assume that Mateo loves his mother, but like how truly attached he is in return, like.
I
He's
think
definitely
it's
a mama's
sweet.
boy.
I think it's sweet that she's a single mom, bringing up Mateo by herself. I think that's beautiful. Like, there's a really good storyline for the AOA team. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it adds diversity to the family dynamics.
Yeah, I think Craig has worked a lot on that part. He did that back with Sophia the First. He likes presenting all kinds of families because he wants children to be represented through his works and see their families in these shows.
Which is why I think it's so relatable.
Yeah.
To many, many
series.
people.
Okay, so it seems that, I don't know about you, but I really think that Mateo will eventually have to deal with the fact that although he will always love his mother and be there for her, he is growing up and living his own life. He is going through danger, protecting the kingdom, helping Elena in her magical adventures, doing his research, and I think it's hinted by how heartbroken he was in Snowplace Like Home over leaving her alone. Also, I don't know. I think Rafa could also deal with the fact that Mateo is growing up, that he's always away a lot, constantly put himself in danger, and she's worried, but she has to trust him and let him go. I don't know if he's going to have more trouble.
Yeah.
Cut the apron strings, I guess.
Yeah, it would be a really interesting parent-child theme to talk about. Maybe empty nest or something. I don't know.
How old is he now?
He's 18.
Wow.
I feel like we're all Mama Rafa right now.
In the real world, per se, that's when you sort of grow up, isn't it?
Watching our baby grow up.
Oh, guys, what if we get, flashbacks about or stories about Alexar's legacy or Rafa's past, or even Mateo's childhood years?
Oh my god, I need baby Mateo flashbacks in my life.
I want to
know, right?
Alcazar. I love that. I really, because that was like the first character we see from Elena of Avalor was Alcazar and Sophia the First, so.
Yes.
I'd love it. Yeah. Love it.
So more on Alcazar would be amazing. So another episode that we have a description for but no title is an upcoming episode where Elena, Mateo, and Esteban get captured by some trap. And we learned about that in the description synopsis of Volume 4 of Season 2 in the iTunes Store. Georgia.
Yes. However, Craig Gerber, what's it called? I think I said his name wrong last time, but whatever. Craig Gerber corrected the summary that was saying they were trapped by Suriki. So we really don't know who the villain is. It is possible he was either baffling because this is a major spoiler, although I doubt that Suriki could come back so easily. She seems to be trapped in that jewel. That might also be the work of the Delgados. Mama Delgado possibly included.
Yeah, I was wondering, are there any Season 1 villains that we haven't seen yet in Season 2 yet? All I can think of is Marimonda, maybe Troyo. We've seen him, but he sort of disappeared before Team Shiriki got disbanded. Maybe Cruz and Duendes? Oh, the Duendes. We haven't seen them yet either. So,
well, they're trapped in the realm as well as Marimonda. She's trapped on that jar back.
They could stay there.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
Seriously. But
well, they did say King Edgar was going to come back.
Oh,
It'd make,
so
it'd make an awesome episode, but for the sake of our team.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the most likely suspect is the Delgados unless they introduce someone brand new.
But it's said that Naomi will be the one to rescue them. Will she do that alone? Will she have Gabe's help? Perhaps we have a new side character to assist her, because she has no magic to defeat one of the magical opponents. So she either uses her smarts, or this is a brand new antagonist our heroes have to face.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry, just to jump in real quick.
Absolutely. And
we do have one other magical person, Princess.
Oh, Val. Yes.
Oh.
That would be
That would be an interesting dynamic.
Naomi and Val
Yay for
working
magical
together.
princesses.
Also, there's Olivia.
I think she's coming back in season 3,
yeah.
though.
Olivia. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Yeah,
I love Olivia.
I do too. Oh, that would be
That
so
really
cool.
can't be the last time we saw her, wasn't like it can't be.
No, we have to see her again. She was so cute.
We need Valentina and Olivia back.
Yes. Girl power.
But ASAP.
Okay, but also, what will the capture try to do with them? Hold them hostage, interrogate, or blackmail them? Why? I mean, the
Revenge.
Delgados, what would they want to do with them? They just seem to want to escape. I don't know.
They're still going for the throne, maybe? Which
They're asking for a lot.
I know. Like, I never understand why bad guys always want to take over kingdoms and stuff. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's true.
So, what do you guys think? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to address if Elena has her scepter with her, if Mateo, Esteban, and her are going to try to escape on their own, or if they're being watched by whoever has trapped them. I don't know. There are so many possibilities. We know so little about this episode.
Yeah. And why were they even together and how they got trapped together? Were they
Yes.
sailing again, going to the Island of Youth? It was Esteban's birthday.
Oh. Actually, at least, see, judging by the last episode, we can all agree, I think, that the character dynamics are going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
I'm so excited for this episode.
Me too.
So, speaking of other episodes that we are excited about, do you guys remember that tweet? Gosh, 2 summers ago now? Mario Lopez tweeted a picture of the script for an episode called Not Without My Magic.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
Yes.
How long are we in this fandom?
I know, it's been
I'm surprised.
I legit think that's one of the first questions I asked everyone was, do you guys see this? And you're like, it was so last year. I was just like, okay.
I feel like we should insert that Titanic meme.
It's 84 years. It's been 84 years.
84 years. Yes.
Actually, how I felt, I was just like, oh my God.
Right. So
You committed this.
you got a lot of catching up to do, Chrissy. You're getting there.
I
know. It's awesome. So the script title page has a production code of 223, which I think means it's meant to be season 2, episode 23. Which, if this is true,
I knew you worked for AOA.
Right. I pick up a few things on the internet, but but if that's true, then that means that it's supposed to be the next to last episode of the season. But you can see a few keywords peeking out on the script. Things like Carla, her parents, which should have been a huge tip-off that, they were going to be back together somehow. And we know that Carla skips out of the room, which makes me think that by this episode, they're still in the honeymoon stage of Mommy Delgado being back in their lives.
Ooh,
and
sounds like it.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. And we can also see that whatever conversation is happening is in the kitchen, because we see, I think it says something about asada, beef stew. So I'm like, ooh, carne asada, yum. We see someone stirs a pot vigorously. There's lots of exclamation point dialogue, words that are in all caps. So I kind of think that maybe Victor and Mommy Delgado are having some kind of argument. Who do you think the cook of the family is, though? Do you think it's Victor?
Victor.
It would definitely be interesting if it was Victor.
Right?
They can cook up a snowstorm. Ayo.
Ooh, nice.
Well, he did care for his daughter all these years, so he must have known a few recipes.
Probably.
Yeah. So I kind of think that maybe Victor is confronting her, Mommy Delgado, about her absence.
If that's true, that's another hit point on the relationship dynamics. That's
Yes.
what some people have to deal with. So, you crafty foxes, you.
Right? Exactly.
Wow.
Fighting parents and separations and things.
That's definitely interesting. I really wonder what the relationship is currently like. Are they estranged? Did Mommy Delgado have to leave for some reason and did not show up for a long time? I don't know. I just really want my evil wizard power couple right now.
Exactly. And then speaking, talking about wizards, what is this magic that someone's going to have to go without and why?
Oh, it really depends on who the focus of the episode is. We haven't had an episode like this yet, but what if it's centered on the antagonist, Carla Miller specifically? She used to feel like no one before she got magic, and Craig mentioned she is a complex character. My safest bet, however, is that this person is either Elena or Mateo. I am leaning towards Elena, as we have seen her scepter glitch quite a lot lately. What if she has to find new ways to channel her magic, the magic inside her?
Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about that.
With that, Mateo believed the magic was new from, of course, Spellbound. That could be something again.
So one of them is the side story. So it's is it Elena's the side story or is it the Delgados as the side story?
Dun, dun, dun.
I know.
Yes.
But, which is,
Either way,
that
it's awesome.
is completely different than my theory. Which I love what you just said, because now I'm like, wow, that might actually be it. But my original theory is, I think I'm the only one of the podcast princesses who feels that Mommy Delgado's stance on magic has been purposely left ambiguous. And I would be surprised if she actually turned out to be completely a dark wizard like Fiero. I'm not convinced that she's actually a Malvago. So...
Actually, I agree with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I like my neutral characters.
That's true. So my crazy crack theory is that Mommy Delgado is going to find out what kind of trouble Victor has gotten her daughter into and is going to flip out on him.
Whoa.
This is not what I wanted. Anyway, so I predict that Mommy Delgado is going to offer Carla the chance to stay with her, but Carla's going to have to give up being a Malvago. Then Carla would have to choose between her mother and her magic, which could lead to Victor having to choose between his daughter or his magic. That's my crazy crack theory.
That would actually be really cool. But like Delgado family drama, Victor being a decent dad again, I like it. But I don't know, it really depends on what the crew has thought. I bet it's going to be awesome either way.
Exactly. However they do it, I'm sure they will completely convince me to be on board with it, because they always do. But yes, bring on the Delgado family drama. I am so enjoying watching them become more complex characters. I don't usually sympathize with villains, but I can't help myself here. But we want to hear more from you guys on this topic. So let's turn the mic over to Georgia for some Twitter time.
Yeah, you're never getting rid of me, because today it's Twitter time. Yeah.
Oh my god, I love that.
That's our new jingle.
Yeah.
Yay, Georgia.
All right, so we have not finished with the Delgados because we have a poll over on Twitter. Tell us, please, what do you think is the duel with Mommy Delgado? Is he a Malvago? Is he a wizard? Is he neither? Who knows? Well, just tell us your opinions, and we will talk about them in the next podcast. While we are on it, also be sure to check the Podcast Princess videos over on Instagram and Twitter if you want to get to know us all better. Also our likes and our opinions on the show. And yeah.
All right. Thanks, Georgia. And now Lady C has a few announcements she'd like to make before we wrap things up. Chrissy?
Oh my gosh, you guys. Whoop, whoop. We have this awesome resource for you to do this Navidad. I made this awesomely cool Navidad themed crossword, and this was before Snow Place Like Home came out. So it's all Navidad themed and featuring my Latina princessa, Miss Lovely Rugby. Jenny's provided me some beautiful Navidad artworks that I've chucked on in there. So make sure to check it out on Twitter and Instagram to download a copy. Just a little fun thing to do over this Christmas holiday. So yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that sounds like so much fun. I can't wait to get my hands on it. So thanks, Chrissy, for doing that for us. That's awesome. And thank you, podcast princesses, for also being awesome and for being here today. I really enjoyed my time discussing this episode and all of these great facts with you guys. And thank you to our listeners all over the world. You guys are amazing, and we can't wait for you to join us next time. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram in between episodes for more discussion, fun games, and resources you will not want to miss. Until next time, wings up, amigos. Bye!
Bye, guys!
Bye, everyone!
Bye.
We wish you Feliz Navidad
and blessings for